if you like betting on golf, but everyone that you back misses the cut. Get some experts involved with all the stats and the tips and so much more, 'cause it's the golf betting system, the golf betting system, it's the golf betting system podcast.
Greetings and welcome to the Golf Betting System podcast. It's episode 385. This is our 2026 Players Championship Tips podcast. Barry O'Hanrahan and Paul Williams join me, Steve Bamford, to discuss this week's PGA Tour action. Good afternoon, gents.
Afternoon, guys.
Afternoon, guys.
This podcast is for listeners of 18 and above. Please be gamble aware. You can visit gambleaware.org for more information. And, of course, please bet responsibly. Visit our world-famous golf betting system website where we have an in-depth betting preview for the players. Paul has been in the stats lab pulling together this week's data. We've got TPC Sawgrass Stadium course strokes gained rankings, detailed course form, player form and combi sheet, plus new and old predictor models for the Players Championship action this week. All of our content is available completely free of charge. There is no paywall. There is no registration required. On X, you can follow Barry at A Good Talk Golf. Paul is at Golf Betting. I am at Bamford Golf. We're on Bluesky. Search for Steve Bamford and Paul Williams. Subscribe to the Steve Bamford Golf YouTube channel where this podcast is available each and every week. If you are listening to this on YouTube or watching, can you press that like button? We'd love to get to 150 likes this week. Now, you guys as listeners power this podcast, so we need your 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. As ever, for those of you who leave a review, I will read them out at the start of a future show. Leave your name and where you are in the review. This one's from Rich K. And Rich is from New Hampshire, USA. Entitled, 5 stars, Rosner killed me, but Bridgman redeemed me. This is my second review from the Granite State in America. A couple of weeks ago, Steve mentioned that 50 to 1 or higher have been hitting. And I study it as of late, and he is spot on. So I got Bridgman at 84 to 1 to win the Genesis Invitational. Nice return on investment. That's why I tune in, and also had a nice win parlaying 2 of Barry's picks, Knapp and Tigala at Pebble Beach. He's got a question for us. Is Reed the Scheffler of the DP World Tour in 2026? And is this good for our outrights, our odds-wise? 5 stars as always. And that's from Rich K in New Hampshire, United States of America. Thank you, Rich, for your 5-star review. So, question, is Scheffler, or is Reed the Scheffler of the DP World Tour in 2026? Another top 10 last week, I believe, over in South Africa, Paul.
Is Reed the old Scheffler? Is probably what we should be asking. Steve. Yeah, a couple of weeks is a long time in this game, isn't it? It's got his seemingly dropped off the pace a little bit. Not that the bookies seem to have taken much notice of that in terms of the way they've priced him, but I think with Reed, we're seeing that he is a level above the vast majority of the players over in on the DP World Tour. And yet some of the courses he goes to aren't going to suit perfectly, and he won't necessarily win them all, but if he continues to tee it up over the next few weeks and months, in his quest, I guess, to win the race to Dubai, which he's got he's got a very good chance of doing if he carries on chipping away, then I think he could well accumulate more silverware and be a real threat to Rory by the time we come to the Earth course at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think Rory's definitely got real competition for that race by order of merit. Undoubtedly. Which he hasn't had on the DP World Tour for a long, long time. No,
it will focus his mind a little bit in that respect, if indeed it's important to him. But it seems to be. It seems that he's keen to continue his quest to accumulate as many records from his own perspective, I guess. But coming with that is to keep chipping away at the Race to Dubai titles over the next few years.
Patrick Reed is as big as 40-1 for the Masters in a few weeks' time.
Just looking that up. I agree with everything you said there, Paul. I think he's a level above the vast majority there, and I think if the form keeps where it is now, he'll probably scoop up another couple of wins this year. Just an observation on Scheffler. I mean, his this little, let's say, hiccup or speed bump in his lack of winning seems to have coincided with Mr. Bamford's launches of on the nose bets on Scheffler. There is a correlation there.
I've destroyed him.
The weight of those 2 pounds on the exchange on his back.
Yeah. You could argue.
I've completely discombobulated him, mate.
Yeah. It's arguably he's far more interesting a player having to go through these challenges than just rinse and repeating wins and being threatening all the time. This is far more fascinating a watch to see him deal with these things.
Last week, most of his ire in terms of course setup were the greens were completely dead on Thursday and Friday.
They're the same for everybody.
He mentioned that a couple of times in interviews. He just didn't like the greens; they were dead, apparently.
Okay,
you do get this, don't you?
You got to deal with it. You got to get on with it. I know you have to talk. You can talk. Talking it out probably obviously helps as well. Maybe just release the stress of or what is annoying him, and then hopefully he can just go out the next day with a clear mind. But they are what they are, and the guys who were at the top of the leaderboard last week dealt with it.
It's his approach play that's the problem. His approach play is just nowhere near where it has been.
Yeah, you can look at his stats from last week, and yes, the putting was a notch down. And to be fair, his putting has come on leaps and bounds, which is why we've seen him mop up so many titles over the last couple of years or so. But yeah, his putting was a bit off last week. But yeah, absolutely, Steve. His approach play I think he's lost strokes gain approach over the last two events from now,
memory. You could go a long way back and try and find the last time that happened. Actually losing strokes to the field on his approach play twice in a row.
Yeah. That's not atypical Scotty Scheffler.
No. And his prices, I can see 9-2 available. At first, he was a 7-2 chance. Now, we're recording this on Monday afternoon of Players' Championship week. So, literally, my betting preview flew around about 2 hours ago. So, slightly different timings this week. Paul and I are off to Cheltenham tomorrow to watch the Champion Hurdle. Hence the speed and the earliness of the pod. How have you been, Barry? Because I know that you haven't been on the last couple of episodes. What have your punting travails been like?
Very bad the week just gone, and the week before was Larry. So yeah, a little bit of a fall off from Bridgman. Had a couple of nice weeks, and well done, Rich, on getting Bridgman at 84s on the exchange. Lovely, and the parlay. Nice to hear that too. Yeah, iffy couple of weeks. Larry with the I think it was probably best that I wasn't on the show last week for the breakdown of that.
Well, we did mention
Paul,
you, Barry.
Paul was on him as well, so there was plenty of backbiting going.
Yeah, we did wonder how you may have taken it had you been on, but
I was. It wasn't great.
Painful. It was painful viewing. But yes, we move on. We're thick-skinned in this game, chaps. We know that there's always another opportunity the week after.
Winning is tough. You just see, even Bhatia last night, he jammed that last put in. You could tell he was just like, please just get in the hole. I just need this moment to be done with, because it's... I can't imagine how overwhelming it is to be at that level of the sport and just trying to get it done. So winning is tough. And it's been good watching guys kind of show or it being visible, because they, as amazing as they are at golf, like they're human beings as well, and they have to deal with these things too. So it's just fascinating thing to watch in real time. Not good when it's your guy that's collapsing, but or going through it and losing. But there's more to just hitting golf shots to get out of watching the show.
Yeah, just disappointing when it's one of your players that you're on, but you dust yourself down, and the players have got no choice but to do exactly the same thing. We talked about Shane last week and how he stood up and talked to the press after the event, and took that on the chin in that respect, and talked about how he needed to move on. And last week didn't go to plan, but he's got that next event out of his system, and we'll see where he moves on from here.
I thought that was a good thing he did. Just talk to the media afterwards. Whereas like Shane of, let's say, pre-winning the Ryder Cup last year, I don't think you would have seen him go talk to the media. It would have been a stormy walk off, maybe. So that's maybe that's just adding another 0.25% to the mental game.
Yep.
Daniel Berger, I'm just looking at his record here. 4 wins on the PGA Tour. 2016, 2017, FedEx St Jude. He defended, didn't he? 2020 won Colonial. I think that was the first tournament back from COVID.
Yeah, they did.
He beat Colin Morikawa, who was runner-up.
Is that the one they did back-to-back events at the same venue, the Work Day or something like that?
I think they came back at Colonial. I might be wrong. Someone will clearly point it out in the show notes. And then he won at Pebble Beach in 2021. 4 wins for a player of Berger's ability. And he's had 4 playoffs on the PGA Tour. He's lost 3 of them. He's lost to Padraig Harrington, Jordan Spieth, and now Akshay Bhatia. It was an interesting tournament, I thought. I had Minwoo in the mix. I think Rory would have actually finished in the top 5. I had him top 5 each way. I think he'd have got me some money back because he was playing okay. I think he was 3 under through Thursday and then decided to go in the water. He got to 4 under after Friday, and then he tweaked his back. So that must be a concern for this week. Minwoo decided to bogey 3 of his first 7 on Sunday, and I just, threw the phone away in despair. But it did have the decency to fight back and get me an each-way place at 40-1, so that was good. It was just, I just found it a bit of a strange tournament. I just found it a bit, when someone shoots 9 under on a Thursday, which is clearly 4 shots clear of anything else that anyone else can do, it kind of puts a bit of a dampener on it, I thought.
Yeah, although you're there to be shot at then, and we've seen it again, players can get on a little run, and Bhatia just after the turn, that's when he really caught fire, wasn't it? And rattled off a few birdies, put some pressure on, and then that eagerly made on 16 absolutely, tweaked that pressure notch up sufficiently, and you kind of get this momentum change at that point, and the rest ultimately was history. Talking momentum, I had Straka, who did the exact opposite. To Bhatia around the turn and rattled off 4 bogeys on the trot, and took himself right out of the mix, which was a little galling.
Just to get this out there, the way that Bhatia won that was just unbelievable. He lost 3.7 strokes off the tee. Madness. He only gained 1.24 strokes with his approach. And then, of course, it was literally Jordan Spieth-esque from 2015. He gained 5.67 strokes around the green, chipping in for fun, chipping it dead, just unbelievable. And listen to this. This is just ridiculous. He gained 10.61 strokes with the putter. So effectively, he gained 77% of his total strokes with the putter and only 23% from tee to green. That is just a complete and utter... That's just mad. You don't get many tournaments like that. And you certainly don't get many tournaments like that at Bay Hill, which normally is a 70-30 split tee to green as opposed to putting.
Yeah, just flipped it on its head.
Fair play to the bloke. What do you think his ceiling is, Barry?
Actually, guy's really talented, isn't he? I mean,
you see him as a future major winner, something like that?
He's got the game. Does he get there mentally? Let's see. I think I was reading earlier his best performance in a major so far was T16. So
it's relatively early doors.
He's a lefty going.
He's very young, isn't he?
He's young. He's a lefty going to Augusta. I mean, maybe he's eyeing up a good performance there. I don't know if he's at that. Who knows? I love watching him. He's brilliant to watch. Really good in interviews. So yeah, fan of his, and it'd be cool to see him go on and win a few more tournaments and maybe a major is there. What do you guys think? Think he's got one in him? Maybe two?
Yeah, potentially. I guess if you were trying to match him up in terms of the majors that he may perform at, perhaps Augusta is the better of the fits. Because you can get away with some of the drives at Augusta. And that would kind of marry up with what we've seen. But then, if you're doing what he was doing, as I say, on and around the greens, then it gives you a chance whenever you're in the mix, really.
Ridiculous, that is. Literally gained, what's that? Almost six, what's that? It's like over 16 strokes around the green and with the putter.
Yep.
Unbelievable. That's literally just magic beans, isn't it, of the utmost degree. So that's the PGA Tour action from last week. We also had Puerto Rico. That was won by Ricky Castillo. He was 28-1. Very, very obvious. Been playing some great golf, so deservedly first PGA Tour title for Castillo. And then over in Joburg, Dan Bradbury was the victor there, Paul.
Yeah, that's the second time he's won there. He loves that track over there at Houghton. I think I mentioned it in the preview when we talked about it last week, that it suits his game. I've been on Bradbury a couple of times already this season. Coming into this, he'd missed the last two cuts in Kenya and the South African Open, which was a bit off-putting for a 40-1 shot. But he went fast out of the blocks. He was first-round leader. He was first-round leader when he won here the first time round back in 22, I think it was. But yeah, led after the first round and managed to get himself back into position by the final round and did the business. I got a little bit back with Danny Van Tonder, who finished tied sixth, so there was some place money back from that. But I didn't go close to picking Bradbury simply because of his most recent miscuts in the African continent, which were off-putting for me.
No DP World Tour action this week, so you can have a week off. You put your feet up.
Yeah, if only.
Not that you've been trying to crank out these stats for the last 17 hours, but last four on the PGA Tour. Let's make it six, sorry. Rose 66, Gotter up 50-1, Morikawa 66-1, Bridgman 90-1, Echeverria 70-1, Bhatia 66-1. Now, will that end this week? The Players' Championship, and the reason I say that is because these are the prices of recent winners of the Players' Championship. Stadium course TPC Sawgrass in March. Remember, the players moved to March as of 2019. So winning prices: McIlroy 14-1 in 2019, Thomas 20-1, Cam Smith the outsider 33-1. Then we've got Scheffler the first time 11-1. Scheffler the second time 11-2 favourite. McIlroy last year 9-1. So, anything above 50-1 this week would be breaking the mould of recent Players' Championship winners. I will say, though, there is hope. JJ Spawn last year, who made the playoff with Rory McIlroy, was a 90-1 chance. And we do see regularly as clockwork here, we just see that big priced or relatively big priced players do get right into the mix. So 90-1 was Spawn and Bhatia again last year. Year prior to that, Clark was 35-1 behind Scheffler. Brian Harman was 70-1. I was on him that week. 2023, Hatton was 30-1. Tom Hoagie, 125-1. And Matsuyama must have been in bad nick, 80-1 when he placed. And then you go to that crazy year of Cam Smith, 2022, when it was blowing a hoolie and God knows what. Lahiri, runner-up, 1,000-1. Paul Casey, 70-1. Kisner, 200-1. Keegan Bradley, 150-1. So there is hope out there for some big price action. Even last year, Glover full each way payout, 175-1. And Tom Hoagie again, 275-1. Got a full each way payout. Small accurate sorts in the main, with a lot of those. Right, let's take you through the course. Slightly extended over recent years, so I actually categorise this now as a medium length golf course rather than a short. I know it's a par 72, but it's 7,352 yards. Holes with water hazards in play, just the 17. Peak dye design. Various different Steve Wensloff redesigns and renovations. They tinker with it most years, but it looks like this year they've actually left it alone. Florida type golf course, water everywhere. I'm categorising it this week as a mid-score type affair. So I'm thinking upper teens likely to be the winning total required. Par 72, 4 par 5s. Off the beaten track here, you've got water everywhere and 92 bunkers. And these bunkers tend to be quite vicious. They're not just there for effect. In terms of the agronomy, fairway, Celebration Bermuda grass overseeded with Champion Fine Ryegrass. The rough again is overseeded up to 4 inches in length. Greens are small, 5,500 square feet. They feature Tiff Eagle Bermuda, overseeded with Poa Trivialis. And this is the point. Since we've moved from May to March, this is an overseeded golf course, which makes it relatively less penal from a speed perspective than we used to see in May. I mean, I can remember the year Seawood Kim won here. You basically couldn't hold a green. That was a particularly bad year.
That was great to watch.
I think 62.5% GIR was the best of the week. Absolutely punishing. I don't think you can see that this week. Although I will say it has been particularly dry in Florida. A lot drier than last year. However, there is some serious rain forecasted with a 90% chance rate Thursday afternoon. So not for the early starters, for the afternoon starters, which could throw in some kind of draw bias potentially.
Doesn't look like round one will get done on Thursday. Just checking the forecast there. It's a lot of electrical activity and probably an inch of rain, but who knows how much more could fall or less. So it's that'll be.
Well, if they get hauled off, and then I don't know, some of these guys have got 12 holes left of a soft golf course in the morning.
Yeah, could the first round leader come from the afternoon wave, like a late tee time afternoon? They might not even get very deep into the round at all.
This is it. Difficult to tell on a Monday, but yeah, there could be something in that. There could be something, and we do see a lot of interruptions across the history here at the Players. It's not a new thing. Fairway widths, just for the listeners, 28 yards wide on average. Now, that compares to 30 last week at Bay Hill, 28 at PGA National the week before that for the Cognizant. So it's a very typical Florida type affair, this. Riviera, 27 yards wide prior to that. Tends to play on the tougher side. I'm seeing difficulty ranks of 13, 15 and 12 over the last 3 renewals. So in that top sort of 20% of difficulty on the PGA Tour. This, and we say this every year, is the most controllable golf course on the planet. Sub-air everywhere. Irrigation everywhere. They can do with it what they want, potentially. But it'll be interesting to see how they deal with this rain that's forecast for the Thursday. Anything you want to add, chaps, in terms of the course or your thoughts around winners of the past? I mean, you do just get a total mix here. McIlroy, Scheffler and Scheffler over the last 3 years. And then the year before that, Cam Smith basically pitched and putted his way. Very similar to Akshay Bhatia last week to the title. Year before that, 2021, Justin Thomas, who was a bit more all-rounded when he won here. He was, let's work this through, he actually was 89% of his winning strokes were from tee to green that year. He only made 1.6 strokes with the putter. This is it. You can win in various ways around here, but that's what they say, isn't it? If you're a putter and you catch fire with a putter, you might win it. If you're a ball striker and you are literally metronomic, fairways, greens, excellent approach play, decent around the greens, you could win this with a 90% tee to green rate as well.
Mm. Yeah. When you try and pick the bones out of it, you do kind of come to that conclusion that there isn't a single stat that you would say is the killer stat for this particular tournament, because it tends to be the player that plays the best golf on the week is the one that ends up lifting the trophy. Now, that doesn't sound like a revelation, but in that respect, it doesn't necessarily favour a certain style or a certain type of player. Interesting, the quote that you put from Rory in your preview, where the work that's been done to extend the course over the last few years and the move to March has made it a little bit more suitable for the more aggressive types, and that was kind of the point that Rory was making from some of his statements in interview. And
it's probably just like the fairways not releasing as much this time of year versus May, and the greens.
Sure. Yeah, and they, as Steve said, they can control it with the sub air, but even so, there's going to be, that this time of the year, there's going to be more moisture to start with, particularly if the rain arrives as you described. And the course is longer now anyway. If you're getting close to 7-4 with some damp fairways at times, maybe, then it could swing the pendulum very slightly towards the more aggressive types. But
you go back to 2009, Stenson, Tim Clark, KJ Choi, Matt Kuchar. I mean, there's barely a guy there that could bang it further than 285 off the tee, but there was a lot of iron straight drivers in that little quadruple list of players. I know Woodsy never really got on with it here, did he? 2-time Players' Champion. That tells a story in a certain way.
And one of those was quite late, wasn't it?
But recently, Thomas can get it out there. Smith's not shy off the tee. Very inaccurate, mind. Scheffler, McIlroy. But even then, of course, runners-up. JJ Spawn doesn't really hit it a mile. Brian Harman doesn't hit it a mile. Anaban Lahiri. Jim Furyk in 2019 when McIlroy won the first time.
It's a wonderful golf course that, it doesn't allow players to just consistently dominate it.
No.
So it's some days you'll get the better of it, and other days it'll slap you around. And I think
you can't overpower it,
no.
Can you? You just can't use brute power. You can't pot Geeter it, for example.
Yeah, like reckless abandon, just ripping driver to try hit a 350 everywhere. Like it's going to. You might get away with it for 1 or 2 days, but it's going to bite you in the ass eventually. So,
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's great that we see this course every year. We become familiar. We're very familiar with it. We know the cadence of how rounds go and when players can like push on with scoring, and it makes it exciting as a fan and to see things happening at different times throughout the round, and you've got the exciting finish, and it's a really fun tournament. I think I'd prefer it back in May when it's a little bit firmer and bouncier, but we got it now, so let's enjoy it.
Yep.
This is what helped shape my selections this week. Official World Golf Ranking of Players' Championship winners since the move to March. McIlroy 6, Thomas 3, Smith 10, Scheffler 2, Scheffler 1, McIlroy 2. So that's 6 winners, all inside the world's top 10 when they won. Interesting, I thought. Data golf rankings for those saying, official world golf rankings are rubbish, Steve. Why are you quoting those? McIlroy the first time, 3rd. Thomas 6, Smith 8, Scheffler 3, Scheffler 1. McIlroy last year, 2.
Yeah, it's a big title. It's a big title for the players to win, and it normally requires, well, it has in more recent years required a one of the big boys to stand up and be counted.
I can hear Barry desperately looking at the data golf or trying to get the data golf rankings up on his PC.
They were there already from 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. Don't worry, they were updated half an hour ago as well, just for your delight.
Just for the listeners, quickly, top 10, if you're not in front of a computer, is starting from 10th is Hideki, Morikawa, Siwoo, Young, Schauffele, Fleetwood, Henley, McIlroy, Rahm, and Scheffler.
Please tell me Russell Henley doesn't win this. Please.
What was he? Is he seriously not on your post-it note of doom, Steve, or was he actually on your
list? He
list
is on the post-it note of doom. You know that.
Okay.
He's one of the originals.
I'm just in case he did any weird stuff like over Christmas or winter.
No, he's still there.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm very, very worried about him though. What's he available at? You can get him at 40-1.
Yeah, 40s. Yeah, I saw that earlier. No, I don't think so.
I've gone for 3 players within the world's top 50, top 10. The first one I've gone for is so obvious, he just has to be backed. I backed him last year. I've always thought this course is perfect for him. Colin Morikawa. 2.5 points each way. I got 20-1 with Bet365, 8 places each way. All of my bets are on 8 each way markets. Don't really need to say a lot about Morikawa. He won at Pebble Beach. He seems to be back to his best. I know he doesn't really... You don't tend to get on with him, Barry. I can understand that, but... He won the 2021 WGC Workday Championship at the Concession Golf Club in Florida. So he's a Sunshine State winner. 13th here 2 years ago, 10th here last year when I was on board. I believe he was 3rd going into the weekend and then shot an awful round of 77 when the wind blew on Saturday. But I think he's in good nick at the moment. So I'm on him at 20-1 with Bet365. When he was first chalked up, just for the listeners, he was available as big as 25-1 on first show. He's been backed off the boards on Monday. The other one at the top of the board that I have gone... I shouldn't really go through this guy because I've said about the world ranking list. The one that really interests me is Chris Gotterup. I've got 1.5 points each way on Gotterup at 40-1 with Betfred, 8 places each way. Remember with Gotterup, he won the first event at the Sony. He then went to Phoenix and won that. So he did a West Coast double. He's in the top 10 in the world. He's 7th. And this guy doesn't mind winning big tournaments, does he? For a lad that's only won 4 times on the PGA Tour. 3 of those on Bermuda grass greens, and the last one was on overseeded Poa Trivialis putting surfaces at TPC Scottsdale. And we've said on this podcast already in 26, when he does win, he tends to win at a price. Seems to be quite generously priced up by bookmakers who seem to forget his wins. And when he was priced up this morning, there was 45 to 1 available on him early doors. I grabbed 8 places at 40 to 1. And then my final top 10 in the world selection this week, you guys are going to love this. Sepp Straka. I got 1.5 points each way at 45 to 1 with Betfred, 8 places each way on Sepp, who for me, again, nuggety, decent short game on Bermuda grass, doesn't mind winning on Bermuda, 4-time PGA Tour winner, 2 of those on Bermuda grass. He's got an excellent Pete Dye record on courses such as PGA West. He's a winner there. 3rd and 4th at Harbour Town. He's got a top 10 at River Highlands. He's in the top 5 for approach and the top 10 for tee to green across my 8-week PGA Tour stats, which take us back to the Sony Open and Dubai Invitational on the DP World Tour. So I've got Straka at 45 to 1, Gotterub at 40 to 1, Morikawa at 20 to 1. My 3 from the world's top 10. Where are you coming in, Paul?
Can we just quickly, Steve? Straka's 9th in the OWGR. He's 34th in data golf rankings, and he's just popped up 8 places. So I think that probably speaks to his. When he pops hard and he wins or finishes really high, and when he's off, it's like, So maybe
he's inconsistent. Yeah,
it's true. That's why you've got him at 40, 45s to 1. So,
well, we know how strokes go into these odds. Yeah, it's always those ones that have got the inconsistency where you get a bit of value.
Yeah. I looked at Straka, and I was on him last week, and Barry was on him last week as well, by all accounts, and. I don't know. Perhaps I need to be able to put these things out of my mind, but I was so disappointed that he didn't even place last week from the position that he was in approaching the turn on Sunday, and then just to start rattling off bogeys when everyone else is starting to, put together the kind of rounds that are going to get them either a decent place or potentially push on for the title. And if he does what Bhatia did on the final 9, then he goes damn close to winning that title. But I couldn't go there.
The only thing I will say is, if you look at our predictor data, he's got 3 times more points on short courses than he has on long courses. So I think this shorter kind of test is more in his wheelhouse. Very much for Gotterub as well. I mean, he's relatively new on the PGA Tour, but you just look at where he performs, Gotterub. His better performances to this point have been on either short or medium length golf courses. He has played here. He missed the cut. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. He's seen the golf course. So, interesting, I think, those 3.
Yeah. No, but to your question, I've backed 3.
Yeah, where are you pitching in?
I've backed 3. All of them at the moment. The 3 I've backed are 50 to 1 or shorter. I have got one that's in the OWGR top 10 as well, which isn't one that you've picked.
Justin Rose.
No, it's not. I've looked quite a bit at the deeper prices, and I'm just really struggling to get anything, triple digits. There's a couple of names we can chat through when we get to that point, but I haven't actually backed anyone at that level yet.
Well, let me show my other. Let me put my other shorty out there, and then we can talk, because I'm sure Barry will be around these prices. So let's talk about Ludwig Oberg. I managed to snatch 28 to 1 with Betfred 8 place each way on Ludwig Oberg. I'm just choking on some green tea. Ludwig Oberg, I got 2 points each way, 28 to 1 with Betfred, 8 place each way. His numbers last week were incredible. First for driving distance, second for driving accuracy. Amazingly enough, he was first for total driving. He was fifth for greens in reg, and he was second for ball striking. That's just pretty mad, really. He was fifth for strokes gained off the tee, second for strokes gained on approach, and second for strokes gained tee to green. He lives in Pontevedra Beach. He uses Sawgrass as a practice facility. He's honest and says that he tends to play the Dye Valley course more regularly than the stadium course, but he tends to play the stadium course once a month, couple of times a month. So he knows this place inside out, and I know tournament conditions will be different. But I just think Oberg is due a win. I could see, you think about Oberg, the quality of the guy. I remember he won the Omega European Masters on the DP World Tour. He then won the RSM Classic on the PGA Tour after he made his debut at the Ryder Cup. Then he had to wait he took out the Genesis, didn't he, last year when they played it at Torrey Pines?
Yep.
And then since then, he hasn't won anything. I could just see the Players' Championship being that kind of next level win for him, where you get a young, truly elite of the future that just takes this out.
Yeah.
So I've taken the 28-1 Betfred 8 place each one, Ludwig Oberg. Yeah,
generational talent, Steve, and I agree with pretty much everything you said there. He is one of the three that I've backed. I think, just to reinforce what you said there, I think he probably wins at least one Players' Championship in his career. I think it could well be this week. Only thing I'll add to what you said is that we saw last year that he was ill. He got he withdrew from a tournament and he was a bit poorly at the start of the year. Pulled that together. Yeah, absolutely. Pulled that together. Won the Genesis as you've described. Same thing this year, and he's started to come. He's come back from the illness that he had. 37th at Pebble, 20th at Riviera, and 3rd last week. It was just a little bit too far back to put the real pressure on last week on Sunday. But progressive form nonetheless. As you said, the long game stats that he was producing last week were superb. And if we do get... They were superb. They do get presented with with some rain that comes in and softens the course momentarily until they crank up the sub air. Then I think a long straight game from off the tee won't hurt whatsoever for those holes and rounds where that is going to be impacted by the conditions. So yeah, I'm 100% with you, Ludwig. My shortest of the week.
He seems to pop out of poor form or bounce out of poor form so much faster than other players. It's when he came back from at the start of this year, you see him kind of floundering around a bit, and in my head I say, okay, we'll just leave him for a while and he'll start to pick it up, and he just seems to just catch fire, and he's back at full speed again. It's a very good talent to have.
You are so right. I remember last year he showed absolutely nothing and then just turned up at Genesis and just took it out. Yeah, this was he was 5th at the Century last year. Then I put him up to win at Torrey Pines. He was first round leader, first at halfway, got ill, finished 42nd. Yeah, I know. He then withdrew at Pebble Beach, still ill. And then 2 weeks later, he turned up at the Genesis and shot 66 Friday and Sunday to take out the Genesis Invitational. His first outing here 2 years ago, he was 10th. He was 4th, I believe, at halfway, or 6th, something like that. Sorry, I'll get it right. He was 8th, 6th after the first round. He was 12th going into Sunday, finished 8th. 3 67s out of his 4 rounds around here. That'd do nicely. I wouldn't mind that this year. Instead of throwing 73 in there, just throw 70 in there. 67. He threw a 73 in on Saturday, on the Friday.
Yeah, I guess you're very close, I think.
Yeah, it would if you got a 70, wouldn't it, on that Friday? Where are you coming in, Barry? 'Cause I've got 55-1 and bigger after that.
I mean, Oberg has been in my head, and I kind of wanted somebody at that, like, I'd say I call the elite players. And seeing as I don't like Colin Morikawa, I won't be backing him, although he has a phenomenal chance this week. And yeah, like I think you're dead right, Steve. This is the kind of course where he should win one. But I think I'll be going with Oberg for a podcast trifecta. I put a bet on Adam Scott last week. I just wanted to take the price. I got him 80-1, 6 places each way.
It's interesting.
Yeah, he's playing really well, and his price has been chopped to pieces recently. So
he's been hammered today.
Yeah. So I'll just stick with that bet. I won't top up and add more places. It is what it is. I think he's be pretty poor price for extended places. So yeah, 40-1 for 12 places. So yeah, I really feel like Hovland is going to pop at some stage. Like, I know he's going through training aid after training aid and saying he's a little bit all over the place, but I feel like he could just land on the right square and it just happens and off he goes. Like his iron play last week was pretty good. I was looking at, but it's off the tee was a bit iffy. Yeah, off the tee lost 2 strokes. But gained 2.5 on approach, and his putting he gained 4 strokes. He was 6th for putting, strokes gained putting last week. So there's a lot to like there. If he could just tidy that driver up, I think he could be get himself a bit deeper in the mix.
Yeah.
So I think I'll pull the trigger on that, and still up in the air on others.
I know that you're a Sahith Theegala truther.
Mm-hmm.
You love a bit of Sahith, don't you? I'm on. Okay. 75-1. I got 8 places each way with Bet365 Sahith Theegala. On the quiet, he's a bit of a Pete Dye specialist. 8th at PGA West. He's had a 5th and a 2nd at Harbour Town. Yeah, you heard that right. 2nd at TPC River Highlands. And he was 9th here 2 years ago. And if you look at his performance last week, he gained 9.47 strokes from tee to green at Bay Hill. That's his best performance going back to the 2023 Genesis Invitational at Riviera. And his 6th best tee to green performance on the PGA Tour. So it would suggest he's found something. He didn't lose strokes off the tee, he actually gained some strokes. His approach play was fantastic. His around the green game was awesome as well. So I just thought 75-1. Bearing in mind he's had 3 top 10s this year, and you've been on him a couple of times, haven't you, Barry? I know you have.
Yeah. He's 14th in your Dye Design rankings. Just looking it up here.
Well, he's also in the top 10 across the last 8 weeks on the, across the PGA and DP World Tour. He's also in the top 10 for current form. I just thought that price was way too big for the way he's playing. Sorry, he's tied 11th. I got that. He's actually tied 11th with Adam Scott. So I just thought that was a decent price point on Theegala. I don't think you're going to be getting that in a few months' time. If he keeps this form going, why I don't see why. He's one of these players, once he gets hot, he just keeps it rolling. So yeah, he was my biggest price selection. I got 75-1 on him on first show. He has been backed in heavily. I'm seeing 80-1 if you're prepared to take 5 places each way. Interested, Barry?
I'm liking what you're selling, Steve. Can we do a bulk deal?
A bulk deal.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Exactly.
Pick where you back him, that's all I'll say, and what way you back him, because I'm seeing as short as 55-1 with Sky Bet. So just have a good search around, see where you can get the best value on him. What about you, Paul? I've got one left, but you chip in.
Yeah, I've got a couple in between those prices. So I have backed Siwoo Kim. I got I'm of the opinion that Siwoo Kim will win something and win something quite soon. So coming back to an event and a course where he has won and performed well in the past on multiple occasions seems to be a good fit to me. He's been in great nick, hasn't he, this year in general? 11th for the Sony, 6th for the Amex, 2nd at the Farmers, 3rd in Phoenix, 13th last week. Still the odd errant drive. I guess, you may or may not get away with those. We'll see. I think he just needs a half decent week with the putter, though. That's where the real challenge has been. It's been largely just the wrong side of parity, wrong side of zero in terms of the strokes gained putting numbers. And I think if he can get a week where he's just the right side of that, then the rest of his game is pretty much there, I think. Won here in 2017, 9th in 2021, 6th in 2024. He was top 10 for strokes gained putting the last time in that 6th place finish 2 years ago. So he can putt these greens. Just needs to try and find that this week, I think. But yeah, Siwoo Kim, the other one, and this is a guy who is in the top 10 of the OWGR, and that's Bob McIntyre. 50-1 available still. If you want to go with extended places, you're going to get a little bit shorter than that. Just looking at 8th in the world, so ticks that box.
Yeah.
18th in the betting. So Bob strikes me as one of these players that is. It doesn't take long for the bookies to kind of forget how much quality and how much talent he has. So if he starts drifting away from the very top end of leaderboards, then the price starts to drop away. And it felt to me, given the market and given his relative strengths, that he could go well here. He's been playing some decent stuff over the last couple of years. 2 wins in 2024, and one of them was co-sanctioned with the PGA Tour, and the other one was the Canadian Open. So, has won at PGA Tour level, won the Dunhill Links last year, 2nd at the US Open last year, 7th at the Open Championship last year. So, Cannon has mixed it recently with the very top end of world golf. 9th here last year, a couple of miscuts prior to that in the previous attempt. So it appears that he's got his head around the course now. And I think if we can find an improvement with his approach play this week, then I think he features. He's not been in terrible form. 4th at the Sony, 20th at Riviera, 24th at Bay Hill recently. So it's just kind of on the periphery. And we'll see if he can just tidy up that approach play game a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him place or better, to be honest. 50-1.
He was in very similar form when he took out the Canadian Open in 2024. Just looking at my strokes gain records, he was good off the tee. He'd been good putting, and he was in the top 15 for strokes gain current form when he won that. Nothing from tee to green or approach, so that suggests that he could just sort of snap into contention.
Yeah, something just clicks and away you go. But yeah, it's not as if he's been terrible, because he hasn't been terrible. He's just not quite been at the very top of his game. But I don't think that it should mean that he drops down to 18th in the betting for a player that's far better than that, I think.
Yeah, I get that. The one I've chosen around that kind of price point as well is Jacob Bridgman. Now, he ranks, since the start of the PGA Tour, 3rd for strokes gained current form. Knapp at 1, Scheffler at 2, Siwoo Kim at 4, Hideki Matsuyama at 5 with Minwoo Lee. Bridgman, 1 at Genesis. I just liked also with him, he just seems to have, he hasn't been around for long, has he? I think this is his 3rd year on tour. He's clearly won his maiden PGA Tour title, which was a signature level event, by the way. But 8th at Pebble Beach, 4th at the Sony Open, 13th at the Amex, 18th at Phoenix, he won the Genesis, and he was 18th last week, where he shot a 75 in round 1, after I'd have thought a couple of weeks of celebrations after winning the at Riv. And then he shot 69, 69, 72 and finished 18th. So he's in decent nick still. I just like the fact that he's got some decent Florida results as well. He came here last year for a debut when he was clearly not the golfer he is today. And I believe he was 18th heading into the weekend after his first 2 rounds around here. He shot 69, 69. He was 11th headed into the weekend, eventually finished 50th. But also, he was 3rd last year at the Valspar, which they play next week at Copperhead. He was 2nd at PGA National last year at the Cognizant. He was 15th at Bay Hill, followed by 18th this year. So he clearly gets on well with Florida golf courses and Florida in general. So that's 2-15, 3-8 in 4 of his last starts in Florida. I just thought on a bloke that's won recently, and also at this price point of 55 to 1, 8 places each way, I thought that was worth a back for me. Potentially a little bit of value. 55 to 1 on first show. I'm just looking. He was as big with a couple of firms just 5 places each way, a quarter the odds at 66s. Which fits in with that kind of narrative that we've been running at recently in terms of winning prize.
Yeah.
As was Straka. He was 66 to 1 with BetMGM on first show. Straka. So that's me. Tigala, Bridgman, Straka, Gottarub, Oberg, Morikawa. I'm done.
I found a triple digits while you were waffling away about
Bridgman. What do you fancy? Yeah. what do you fancy?
I'm a big fan of Bridgman because banked the win on him a couple of weeks ago. So I think I'm gonna back Jake Knapp. He's not triple digits, but just mentioning that there, I don't think I can escape him.
Why did he WD?
Why did he WD? I know, to be mentally ready and preparing a victory speech. I don't know.
Was it sickness? I think I read he was just sick before the off. That couldn't make his tee time.
Okay,
which is not a concern if it's that if it's not muscular or.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If it's not structural, it was just food or something. Anyway, but yeah, 12th of the players last year. He's on a 4 tournaments top 10 streak. Obviously didn't play last week, but I don't think I could resist backing Knapp. But the triple digits, so I need to find the right price. I think I'm kind of finding something like a 125, 10 places or 100, 12 places at Hisatsune. So he was 4th for greens and reg last week. He's 10th in your tee to green rankings, and if he can have a slightly better week with the putter, he could sneak up into the places. I think he's a really talented golfer, so I wanted to find something in the triple digits just for the fun of it. And he was the one that kind of jumped off the page. His 2 missed cuts in the last 2 years, he was level par both days, so it's not like he's unable to get along with the course. So wouldn't write him off. I haven't written him off based on those 2 missed cuts.
Yeah, not disastrous, just not quite good enough.
Figuring it out, I guess.
There were a couple that I've looked at. One might interest you, Barry, and Max Homer. I'm still in the undecided camp about.
He's broken, man. He's broken.
He needs to talk to Oberg about how to get back on the horse and up to full speed.
Yeah, but look, 13th at the Cognizant last time out. That's not disastrous. That isn't disastrous.
That's good for the mental game. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we've seen him pop back to prevalence over the last year or whatever period of time that he's been struggling for a bit, he has done it in elite company and shown that there's still something there. There's no consistency there. We've seen that, and generally the results have been poor, and that's why you get an 150 to 1. But I don't know. I haven't backed him yet. I've just the number and the name caught my eye. The other one that caught my eye was Jordan Smith at 225s, and he has been playing some reasonable stuff. The reason being, he reminds me in terms of style of play of Robert Allenby in terms of how he would approach and
blast from the past.
Yeah, well, and Allenby had a fantastic record here at TPC Sawgrass. So that was the kind of very vague mental process I was going through when I saw his name there at a couple of 100 to 1. But whether either of them could actually get to a point where they could pay back on even an extended each way term bet, I need to convince myself to take the plunge on that. But those were the two names that were kind of talking to me without screaming at me.
I tell you what, I reckon there's worse bets than Austin Smotherman. Don't know what his WD was for Bay Hill the other week, last week, but he's as big as 400 to 1 or 350 to 1. Mm. He's hitting the ball very, very sweetly, Smotherman. And I remember last year Danny Walker got into the mix, so rookies does happen. And I'll tell you another one that's playing well at the moment under the surface and who's finished. I'm just using our combi sheet, Paul, as we speak. Well worth a look at, listeners, so you can link current form to Sawgrass form. He's finished 12th here and he's finished 11th here. And he's had a 7th and a 9th already this season. Joel Damon. 200 to 1 available out there?
Yeah. Yeah.
200 to 1 with 10 places with Ladbrokes right now.
If he can,
he's not going to win, I grant you, but I could see him nicking a place.
One or two of these obscenely long players will find their way into the mix. The other one, Matty Schmidt's been playing well over the last couple of weeks.
Schmidt's playing well.
And
did well in Puerto Rico last week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. A couple of top tens on the trot, and sometimes you find the momentum just carries a player through. 450 to 1 I can see about Matty Schmidt out there. So, yeah, I don't know. Each to their own as to how you play it. And I suspect the top end of the eventual leaderboard will be littered with names that are short prices. But even so, if you can find one of these guys that's a big triple digit, then that can be a really healthy return on the week.
Yeah, I think it's worth throwing some cash potentially at some of these longer shots. As I said, last year, Hoagie 275, Glover 175. The year before, that was a lot of favourites that year, but then I'm looking at 125 to 1 Hoagie. A guy, Jordan Sir was his name, 200 to 1, Lingmouth 1000 to 1, Rose 100 to 1, Minwoo Lee 150 to 1, Davis 300 to 1. That was just in 2023. So it does happen. Big triple digit prices. Or in the case of Anaban Lahiri, 1,000 to 1 when he finished second to Jordan Smith. Not Jordan Smith, you wish. Cameron Smith.
Jordan Smith, yeah. That'll be this week.
Right, any more, or are we done?
No, I'm done.
No, I need to stop now or I'll just keep adding.
Oh, by the way, Barry, Hitsatsuni, I would have a little cover on first round leader as well, because he's been white hot first round leader this year.
Oh, thank you. See, these are the nuggets we need, and these are the nuggets that'll get us reviews when that clicks. 5-star reviews. So the thing I forgot to mention on Nap, like the guy is he's number 2 in putting on your tracker, and he's number 1 in strokes gained total.
Current form, he's number 1 in this field. How mad's that?
I know, it's nice that like all the stats are backing up my mental weakness for just being wed to backing golfers that I really love. But it's good to have some substance there beneath the surf, beneath that.
Yeah. I can remember him having a good year here as well. He was 12th here last year. He was 9th after 36 holes and 8th heading into Sunday. So he doesn't mind a Florida golf course. I know he's got, was he second or top? He was at least top 5 at PGA National last year, I think, or year before. So he doesn't mind a bit of water on the course. Well, chaps, I hope your bets go well.
Yeah, best of luck, boys.
You too, boys.
Best of luck to listeners. We'll be back next week, normal time on Tuesday recording. We've got the Hainan Classic on the DP World Tour, and we've got the Valspar Championship on the PGA Tour. As I said, if you're on YouTube, 150 likes would be fantastic. Also, if you could press that 5-star button if you're listening on Spotify, that would be fantastic as well. Also, out of 5-star reviews, so if you could send us your 5-star reviews, especially if you're in the UK or Ireland, spend a little bit of time, be watching Cheltenham and just in between races, send us a little 5-star review. That'd be most appreciated. Enjoy your Cheltenham week, and we'll be back next week. See you later.
If you like betting on golf, but everyone that you back misses the cut, get some experts involved with all the stats and the tips and so much more. 'Cause it's the golf betting system, the golf betting system, it's the golf betting system.